I've been noticing a series of trends online that are hurting the photographers that are partaking in them. Now I get it, it's enticing, you see these videos and you're like, man, I want to share my version of that story. I feel the same way. I see them getting a bunch of likes. I want to also be in that world. But I don't think these photographers really realize what it's doing to the long-term effects of their career and even just their photography in general. So in this video, we're going to break that down and make sure that you don't make the same mistakes. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Sergio and I'm a commercial photographer here in Victoria, BC. I've been shooting a little over 10 years now and I've gone through a bunch of these trends. I've seen them come and go. I've seen photographers think that they're going to be the next big thing and then 6 months later they sell their camera and then realize like, maybe it's not for me actually. Trends are part of the industry, whether you like it or you dislike it. Finding which one is useful and which one is not is going to be beneficial to you and your career. So we're going to go over a few of the negative examples and the negative things that you shouldn't be doing as a photographer, and then we'll follow it up with a trend that is positive and something that you actually should partake in and will help your photography. All right, so let's watch the first one together. Client asked, hey, make sure you make me look skinny. I said, yeah. Turns out I didn't know what I was doing. I never even tried. Parading the fact that you don't know how to do something is not beneficial. You might get your friends and the people around you to be like, oh, haha, that was so funny and cheeky and cute, and like, yeah. But if you're a business as a photographer, you're trying to make money as a photographer, you're trying to attract clients, you're trying to attract businesses, you're trying to show off that you're an expert in your field, pretending that you know how to do something and then telling your client that you're going to do it and then not actually doing it after they've paid you money to do the thing and you promised a certain result, that's not good for you. That's not good for your business. That doesn't come off as you know what you're doing. That doesn't come off as you're a good photographer. Don't do it. Make sure that the trends you're looking at show off your skill and show off your photography in its best light. If you're trying to partake in this little joke that's you're seeing online that it's actually making you look like an idiot, that's not good. I get that you want to act dumb, and it's way better to be a sponge and soak in all the information and not pretend you know everything, and don't be like, they wanted me to make me look skinny, and I made them look 4 pounds, actually. I made them look anorexic because that's how good I am. Like, no, that's the other extreme. That's also not good. But you don't want to just be like, ha ha ha, I don't know what I'm doing. That doesn't come off as someone who is trusted in the industry. Just think of the people who will be hiring you or seeing that video after the fact that you post it or share it or whatever. Even if you think it only has 12 likes and nobody's seeing it, trust me, those 12 people are important. You just got to be mindful of what it is that you're putting out there, what you're associating your personal brand with. If your personal brand is, I don't know what I'm doing, fine. But just be aware of the consequences of what it is when you're saying to people that, hey, I actually don't know how to make you look skinny, because even though some people's expectations of that question or of that, hey, can you please do this for me? They don't really understand what it entails. But as a photographer, you should. And pretending that you don't just shows that you don't know what you're doing. There is ways to make people look skinnier and feel skinnier and appear less large than they are, just like there's a way to make people look fatter than they are, with lighting, with posing, with angling, all those things. So pretending that, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, and it's not going to be beneficial to your career. All right, so this next one kind of is a pet peeve of mine because I felt like this before as well, but it's not until I had a lot more experience that I realized how much of a beginner take this really was. And it's when clients, or the trend is when clients ask for raws and then you show like some behind the scenes of how it totally doesn't look the way that the final result looks, and then you show your edited version and how much better and how much more, how much you're able to fake your bad photography. And I don't think that photographers who are sharing this trend realize that they're trying to show off that they're good editors and not good photographers. Everything that you do in editing, okay, there's a little caveat there, but let's just say everything that you do in editing is mimicking something you could have done in photography. What we're learning to do in Photoshop are things that we weren't able to do back in the film days. And yeah, there's some like dodging and burning, and you can layer a couple different plates of film on top of each other and you can create like these cool effects. And there are some Photoshopping that you can do back in the film days in the film lab. But for the most part, everything you're doing in editing, you're changing the color of the background, you're adding different shadows, you're fixing up some of the scuff marks, all of those things could have been done in person and in camera. And as a photographer, you're getting paid to shoot photos, not edit them. I get paid my day rate for photography is much higher than my day rate for editing. And that goes the same with any photographer, to the point where my editors make more money than I do as an editor because they're better at it than I am. But my photography is where I make my money, and my photography is how I market myself to clients and businesses. So if clients and businesses are like, hey, I want to see the raw files, or I want to take the raw files and use them for myself, I get it. As a photographer, you're like, whoa, that's like taking the words and not actually getting the book, like just taking the raw ingredients and not getting the meal. But as a photographer, you should be getting that raw file as close to perfect as you can. Obviously, there's some things that, sometimes I'll shoot together multiple assets in order to create an image in Photoshop because we were copying them together, trying to get maximum resolution, all those kinds of things. Like there's aspects in which this doesn't apply, and don't get too mad at me in the comments. I get it. But a lot of the high-end jobs, the stuff I do with Uber, like a lot of the bigger shoots, especially on the agency side, they will ask and they will want and they will get all of your raws. Trust me. If you are so gung-ho about never giving away your raw files, you're probably not going to book that next job and that next job and that next job, especially the bigger, higher paying ones. If you're booking with mom and pops and they don't even know what a CR3 file is and how to edit it, and they're like paying you $350 for an afternoon of shooting, and they're like, oh, can you just give us the raw files? We'll edit them ourselves. We'll just slap a filter on Instagram. Like that, I get it. That is annoying, and it's like those aren't the clients that like, it's like, yeah, okay, I won't give you my raw files because you don't even know what you're asking for. But at a certain level, they will ask for your raw files because they have editors on the team that maybe aren't better than you are, but they're at least on the payroll, and they don't need to pay you to edit. And you're not an editor, you're a photographer. Showcase your photography skills. Don't show off that you know how to edit. Show off your behind the scenes and how much of those little mirrors that you had to set up in order to create the shot that you created, how many modifiers you had, or how much you've created a whole world behind the camera, not behind an Wacom tablet. You know what I mean? All right, so what about trends that are good, trends that are beneficial, things that will actually help your photography, your business, your career, your wallet? What's actually good and beneficial? Well, any trend, any line, any photography thing that you see, anything that has to do with you actually practicing is going to be beneficial. Whether that's going out in the street and asking people to take their portrait rather than trying to take their portrait as a street photographer, or whether that's taking better food photography by being closer, being mindful of the lighting, anything that has to do with you actually practicing the photography is going to be much more beneficial than these quick little reels that you see online or on TikTok that will help, get more views from other photographers? Like, that's not the goal here. You're trying to show off your skills. You're trying to show off who you are as a photographer. So if you're putting that time in, that you're practicing on your own craft, that you're going out of your comfort zone, you're shooting when you don't feel like shooting, you're scheduling it in, you know that next Thursday you have some time off and you're like, you know what, I'm going to go shoot. And then you're going to wake up Thursday morning and you're not going to feel like going to shoot, but you're going to be like, you know what, I scheduled it in. I put myself that I was going to go shoot. It's much more easy to make excuses to not go out and do something. So you know what, I wanted to do it back then. I'm going to go through and actually do it. And if you want to call that a trend of actually putting the work in and not waiting for that 10,000th like or whatever, that's what will make you a better photographer that'll actually keep getting booked consistently. Because if you're working, if you're bettering your craft, if you're trying to show off how good of a photographer that you are, eventually people will notice. If they don't notice, you might not have a good taste yet, but that'll keep getting worked on the more you practice, the more you keep building this craft. Don't give up on it. It's a long, slow road, but it doesn't mean that, you're not enjoying the process. You're not crossing these hurdles. You're not hitting these huge, milestones only at the end. You hit them all throughout this career. Every couple months, there's like a new thing that's like super exciting, that's fun, that keeps you going for another couple months. And you just want to keep doing that. Don't worry about these trends. Don't try to go viral. Don't worry about popping because you're copying what someone else is already doing because you saw success that they did that thing. So if I do the exact same thing, then I should have the same success, right? look at yourself, look at your career, try to be the best that you can be, and share that with the people around you. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed your day. Leave a comment, leave a subscribe, leave a like, leave a this, leave a la. I don't know. All the YouTube things, you know what's up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in a couple days. Later.